So I am becoming more and more abreast and informed in regards to a lot of political things. And I just recently seen a post about affordable housing, specifically in Tampa. And, somebody on there was talking about basically who is subsidizing this housing. And, basically, why should I have to work hard for what I have and support people that don't work as hard as me so that they can have affordable housing? And, the thought that came to my mind is that the rich think they rule this world. And, it is a truth that in certain estimations, they actually do, because they're the ones that have the more money. We know the statement, with great power comes great responsibility. With great riches comes great responsibility. And the truth about the matter is that most rulers in this world, when we talk about the context of money, are really bad rulers. You got a bunch of rich people who are morally bankrupt, who have a problem with helping the next person because they believe that the next person should work as hard as they have worked to get where they have. And that rhetoric has its place, because everybody should work hard. But anybody that's in any form of leadership also knows that you gotta lead. Yes, encourage people to pull up their bootstraps and to do their best to work to afford what you have afforded and what every human being can afford. But the truth and the reality in this world is that the majority of people in life need leadership. The majority of people in life aren't gonna be self-starters. I won't say the majority, but a great majority of people need leadership. They need to be inspired. They need to be assisted. And I just think that it's a sad leader that is selfish and that doesn't want to lead a people, that complains about having to subsidize housing and pay greater taxes because you make more. That's selfish. And it also points to the fact that you are very secure in your riches, but internally you are very, very insecure. You're so insecure in yourself that you can't lend a hand to help the next person. You think that the next person wants a handout. And so you won't even do your due diligence to be a productive member of society while talking about people that you don't think are productive members of society. If you are a leader in this society, you have a greater responsibility. It just is what it is. And those same people that you want them to pull up their bootstraps, and you want them to make a living just like you did, hopefully they don't become just like you, who complain about subsidizing houses and paying extra taxes because you make a little more. We don't need those type of leaders, because those type of leaders, they create the situation that is life right now. And those are my 2 cents. Rich people tend to be arrogant. And yes, everybody has the same 24 hours as me. Yes, that's a fact. But Jesus even said, the poor you're going to have with you always. That's not a ploy or an excuse for somebody not to work. And I think too often that's politicized as well. On both sides of the aisle, that's politicized. You got people complaining about the socialist agenda and, welfare and all this other stuff for people that actually need help. And then you have people that literally use this to be lazy. So we just look at it in truth on both sides. People are people, no matter if you're rich or if you're poor. People are going to be people. But that should not affect your heart as far as what you're going to do out of the goodness of your heart. And I just think that a lot of people, rich and poor, really need to take a step back and examine themselves on their critique of things and their outlook on life. because we want to talk about how, poor people maybe, we want to talk negative about poor people. We could talk just as negatively about rich people. In both camps, there are useless people. There are useless leaders among the rich, and there are useless people that don't want anything but a handout on the side of the poor. So those are my thoughts on that post that I saw this morning on somebody basically complaining about having to, subsidize houses, or housing being subsidized by their taxes that they are paying. Like, we just really all need to get a grip, because at the end of the day, this whole political battle, it's a battle against the rich. It's a battle of the rich versus the poor. It's a battle of ideals, and ultimately, at the end of the day, it boils down to a sinful condition that because you don't have any value in and of yourself, your greatest value is the money that you make and your hard-earned whatever, and the taxes that you don't want to pay, or whatever the case may be. And that goes for the rich as well as the poor. What we find identity in is our issue, is our sinful condition. But in the context of riches, there's a lot of rich people that live the high life that are poor. And like I said on another video, when I engage people in my line of work, which is hospitality, at the end of the day, I don't care if you're wearing Louis Vuitton or you're going and you shopping at International Mall and getting all this expensive stuff, because that doesn't really say anything about your soul. At the end of the day, you eat just like somebody else. At the end of the day, you have internal issues just like anybody else, and you probably want a friend just like anybody else, and you want to spend good time in a good space just like anybody else. So I'm not intimidated by rich people, and I'm not put off by poor people either, because at the end of the day, people are people, and the last time I checked, everybody has a heart. It's just like, and I'll end it with this. It's just like people that, they give off the impression that people have to dress a certain way to come to church. You could be dressed in a 3-piece suit, and you can come from the strip club dressed in next to nothing. At the end of the day, both of those type of people have a heart that needs to be served. And I just think we just need to get back to the heart of the matter, because the way that we are interacting and engaging one another as human beings is not good, and God is not pleased. But anyways, that's my video of the day. Y'all have a good one. God bless you. Amen.